Thank God you're here. Thank God we're here. Thank God this day is here and this world is here. We have so much to be grateful for, and we're on a journey to become more grateful people. I want to tell you the surprising reason why gratitude matters so much, the surprising way in which gratitude primarily needs to be expressed. A lot of what gets written in our day, particularly in the field of psychology, is you should pursue gratitude because it will make your life better. It will make you a happier person. Instead of being this complaining, curmudgeon, discontented person that nobody wants to be around, you will experience joy and your life will be enhanced, and you'll experience that deep sense of delight in this gift and this gift and this gift. No, that's not the main reason. That's a good thing, but it's not what's most important about gratitude. And I want to get to that. I want to start by telling you a story that illustrates this. Nancy and I very recently got to spend a weekend with folks at Compassion International. It's headed up by Jimmy Mayato, and there were several hundred people at this event. They do amazing work. They are currently rescuing 2.4 million children from extreme poverty and enriching their lives physically, materially, intellectually, socially, spiritually. And as you might imagine, when you listen to those stories in a world where there's so much abundance and yet so much poverty and suffering, it's very, very moving. I want to tell you one person in particular. His name is Dr. Goodluck. He was born in abject poverty in Tanzania. His mom was 14 years old. I think we may have a picture for him that we got clearance to show. He didn't know who his father was. His mother was a barmaid, and he said that was a position of enormous shame because it meant that any man who wanted to take her could take her, and she could never refuse or she would lose her job. And she did that for her family when she was 14 years old. And at one point, he was in a hospital bed. He'd been misdiagnosed, and there were 3 other boys, and one day one of them died, and then the next day a next one, and then the next day a next one, and he knew or figured he knew what was coming next, and he actually prayed and said, God, if you will heal me, I will come back here and be a doctor in this hospital. And he ended up recovering. He was sponsored in Compassion, so he became a Compassion child. He was able to go to school. He was able to go to university. He got a scholarship to Johns Hopkins in the U.S., and then beyond that, he got a fellowship to go to Harvard, so he was trained as a heart surgeon and a brain surgeon both. And as you might imagine, any door that he wanted would be open to him in the U.S., but he said, no, I will go back to Tanzania. And when he went back there, of course, they wanted him to go to the most elite and prestigious university hospital that they had. But he said, no, I'm going to go back and serve in that same hospital where I was misdiagnosed when I was a boy. I made a promise to God that I would do that and that I would go back, then I would never misdiagnose anybody. And he said he's back at that hospital, and there are doctors still working at the hospital now who were there when he was misdiagnosed. And he said, I teach them, and I tell them how important it is to get every diagnosis right. And his spirit was so amazingly generous. He has done, I think in the last 3 years, 2,700, I wrote it down, at 89 major surgeries. That's almost 3 a day. And he said he just can't say no to anybody. He was going to come and speak to this group, and because of stuff going on, he had a very difficult time getting a visa to get into the country. So he had to take a few days where he would go to just try to get a visa, and out of his own pocket, he paid for somebody else to do surgeries at his hospital. He came and spoke to us, and the place was just mesmerized by what he had to say. And that was on a Saturday, and then he stayed at that hotel on Sunday and then was going to fly back on Monday. It was his first day off in 3 years. um, he was given the gift of somebody who said, I will invest in the life of a child who is suffering. And then that became in turn a gift that is going to untold other people. The expression of his great gratitude that mattered most was the gift of generosity. To use the gifts that came to him, not to enrich his own life, which he could have done in 1,000 different ways, but to say, no, there are so many people who are just like I was, who are suffering like I was. And my life could help make a difference in their lives. And by the way, his brother is now in the 4th year of his med school. Tends to be with Compassion International. When one child gets rescued, gets helped, the whole family gets helped. So today, the challenge is to think about, if I'm really grateful, the goal is not to feel grateful. That's a good thing if it happens, that's fine. That's not the goal. The primary goal is not to say thank you. That's a good thing to do, but it's not the primary thing to do. The question is, how can I be generous? Because if I'm getting gifts from God and my primary focus is, oh, I feel so grateful to get these gifts. This is really good. Thank you, God. But there's people in this world around me who are starving, who are desperately needy, and I'm just enjoying the good stuff that I've got. That is not God's plan. What happened with Jesus was a major shift in the relationship between gratitude and generosity in the ancient world. A scholar named Peter Leithart writes about this in a book called Gratitude and Intellectual History. It's fascinating. He talks about how generally in the ancient world, in the Greco-Roman world, gratitude was a real important thing, but primarily it worked in a kind of a circle of reciprocity where it was a transaction. There would be a giver, and that giver would give something, maybe money to a recipient, often folks that were more poor. And then in turn, those recipients would give something, sometimes applause. When Jesus talks about don't be like the givers, benefactors, he uses that word, who give so that people will blow trumpets. That literally happened in the ancient world. They might give status or public affirmation or so back to the person who is their giver. And so there was actually a phrase in Latin, do et des, however it's pronounced. I give to you so that you can give to me. Now, when Jesus came, he created a revolution in gratitude that led to generosity. And the new picture was this. The new circle is this: God. And God gives, let's say, to me. And the idea is not that that creates a circle. This circle is also used with the gods. I give to the god, I give to Zeus, so then Zeus has to be good to me. Here it's God gives to me so that I will be generous to other people. Whatever you do to the least of these, and not just me. God is giving all the time. God is giving gifts like our sun is at the center of the solar system and giving light and energy that creates life all over the place. So James 1:17, James says, every good and perfect gift comes from above, from the Father of all light. Every gift is coming from God. That's why Paul would say, not I thank you, but I thank God for you. And then the new rule is this. This is Jesus in Matthew 10:18. He's talking to his disciples. And he says, freely you have received. And the idea there is now you're not in neutral. Thank God that we're here. My body is a gift. This day is a gift. The light of the sun is a gift. My mind working is a gift. The technology that enables us to talk like this, it's a gift. And I give to it freely. God gives with no strings attached. He causes the sun to rise on the just and the unjust. He just gives freely. That's a word that changed everything when Jesus said that. Freely you have received. And then what is our response to be? Make sure you say thank you. No, it's a good thing to do. Freely you have received. Freely give, freely give, freely give. So today, how do you want to be generous? And maybe it's through somebody like Compassion International that is changing the lives of little children like Dr. Goodluck. There was another woman who spoke here who became a Compassion sponsored child and rescued from poverty so great. She used to ask her mom when she was a little girl, could we have an apple? Could we have fruit? Literally, her mom said, we cannot even afford a rotten apple. Literally not a rotting, stinking piece of fruit. Can't do it. And then her life was changed, and she got an education, and her family's life was changed, and she brought her families to one of these celebrations, and it was at a farm, and she took them to an apple tree where they could have whatever apples they wanted, and her dad starts to pick up apples off the ground. She's, no, Dad. You have a good apple. You can eat an apple right off the tree. So it's maybe through what folks like Jimmy are doing at Compassion International or some other organization, or simply being generous today when you give somebody a tip, or when you see a person in need on the side of the road, whatever it is today. If you have any gratitude for the gifts that God has given to you, remember that doesn't come mostly so that we can feel good about all the stuff we have. It doesn't come mostly to make our lives more pleasant. It's about this. Freely you have received. I have received. Freely give. Thank God we're here.
God gives freely with no strings attached. I'm going to be thinking about that today because I'm not sure that I'm the kind of person that does that, but I want to be the kind of person who does that. I want to be the kind of person who pays my gratitude forward, who takes that gratitude and turns it into action. So I'm going to do that today. What are you going to do? What stood out to you? What was the Holy Spirit nudging on your heart as you were listening today? Maybe you want to check out Compassion International. Maybe you want to bless somebody in an unexpected and generous way. Whatever it is, we encourage you to put something into practice today from the teaching that you heard as we're on this journey to become more Christ-like one day at a time, right here at Become New. If you want more resources, check out becomenew.com. If you have a prayer request, we would love to pray for you. My name's Tim. I'm a member of the team, and I'm a pastor, and I'm one of those people who prays out loud every weekday for viewers and listeners just like yourself. So don't face whatever you're facing alone. Text it to us, email it to us, and we would love to pray for you. We love you. Bye now.